Hi all, welcome to part 10 module 2 logic system design. So now we are going to see a different concept called a canonical form. So given any boolean algebraic expression, what is its canonical form and what is its importance? Okay, so the theory part is explained here. Let me take a small example and introduce you the concept, and then after we will see the theory concept, right? See, what is happening here is, let me take an example. So I have a Boolean algebraic expression, and the expression is say a plus b dash c. Just a three variable expression I am taking. So this is the expression I am having. Now you know the how to come up with the truth table and all. Let's see quickly about it. Say a b c. So this is a Boolean algebraic function. Say let me denote it as f, right? I'm just not denoting. And now tell me what are all the different assignments. Like I can have combinations like a, b, c, all are 0. And then what is my f? That is the question. Okay, f is a plus b dash c. So before finding f, I think you have to find out the sub expressions, right? So see, let's fill it 0, 0, 1. Then 0, 1, 0 is there. Then 1 0 1 1 is there, right? Then 1 0 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 and 1 1 1. So these are all the different combinations possible for this input variable, Boolean variable a b c. Okay, that's all. Now I can directly go for this f, but instead of that it will be easy for you to understand if I take in the procedure. Like let me find out what is b dash. So what is b? You can see b here. Say find out b dash. 0 become 1. I'm just looking at this one and I'm just complementing it, right? So this will be 0, then these two are 1, then 0 0. So this is my b dash. Now tell me what is b dash dot c. So that is the next term I'm interested in. See, b dash dot c. So b and b dash and c, they are nearby. Just perform the AND operation. So you will get it as 0 dot 1 is 0, 1 dot 1 is 1, 0 dot 0 is 0, 0, 0. Then this is 1, this is 0, this is 0. Okay, fine. Now tell me what is f. So that is our final function. So you can see that f is a plus b dash c. So you have to perform OR operation between a and b dash c. You have to perform the OR operation. Okay, so keep that in mind. So finally this f will be 0 dot 0. Just look at these two entries, 0, then 0 or 1, that is 1, 0, again 0, again 1, 1, then these are all ones. Okay, so this is what I am getting. Okay, fine. So this is my function. Now I'm going to represent the same function using a different notation. So what I'm doing is I'm just focusing on, so I'm arguing that the same function a plus b dash c is also expressible like something which we are going to discuss. So what I'm doing is just focus on the rows where this f is giving you a value 1. So where the function is giving me a 1. Okay, so I'm just focusing on this row. So this is the first instance where I am getting a 1 for f. Now tell me, corresponding to this row, what are all the input instances a, b, c. You can see that a is equal to 0, b is equal to 0, c is equal to 1. That is where the function is giving me a 1. That means what I am doing is a is equal to 0, so that a dash is 1. Okay, and b is equal to 0, so that b dash is 1, and c is equal to 1. Okay, like that. So whenever I am getting a dash dot b dash dot c is equal to 1, that 1 is finally coming out as a 1 for the function, something like that. So this is one case where I am getting the function is giving me a value of 1. Now another case, so OR, that is represented by 1. Now where this function is giving me a 1, see, this is here. You can see that. So here also, in this row also, the function is evaluated to 1. So now tell me the values like 1 0 0. That means a is 1, b dash is 1, right, and c dash is also 1. So this is another instance. Now three more instances are there, right? So you can see that this is the next instance, right? Now tell me how to express that case A is equal to 1, B dash is 1 or B is equal to 0 and C is 1. So now two more cases. See, this is one case. So tell me or. So that I am represented by 1. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1 and C is equal to 0 or C dash is equal to 1. So that is this case. Now the last case, see, you can see that all the instances are like A equal to B equal to C equal to 1. So that is represented by A, B, C. Now I am telling you that this same function, so this this is somewhat looking like a complex expression. This is equivalent to A plus B dash C. So that is my argument, okay? And I think you got an insight like why it is equivalent, because A plus B dash C is what I written here. So this one corresponds to what? This one corresponds to this F is nothing but A plus B dash C. So from the truth table I got the truth value for F. Then I expressed F in a different way. Say I am saying that F is giving me a value of 1 in 5 cases, right? In 5 cases. And what are all the cases? This is case 1. This is where F is giving me a 1. This is case 2. Right, in case 1 is nothing but when A is equal to 0, B equal to 0, C equal to 1, or when A dash, B dash, C is equal to 1 altogether. This, right, the AND will give you 1 when all of them are 1. So this is one case, or another case is like this, that is A, B dash, C, and the third case is like A, B dash, C. Now the fourth case is, this is A, B dash, C dash, okay, this is A, B dash, C, and the fourth case is like A, B, C dash, and the last case is like A, B, C, right? Okay, so hope it is clear the way I am writing it. Now this notation is what we call as the canonical notation. The same function I expressed something. So if you are looking at the canonical notation, you can see that. So this is a special form. This is something called here. This each this is something like a product term, right? This complement A dash, B dash, C. These things are getting multiplied, right? So I can call this term as a product term. So this is a product term. It is otherwise called a product term. Another name for it is min term or product term. So this is another product term. See, another product term. This is another product term, right? All these are product terms. Like the two more product terms. So keep this in mind. I'm just removing these two. All are product terms only. Now what is happening is the product terms are added together, right? I am taking addition. I am adding the product term. Addition is nothing but sum. So the entire thing I can call it as sum of products, right? I have an individual term called a product term and they are getting added each other, and I am getting something called a SOP, sum of product expression, right? And the speciality of the simply if I am saying that it is SOP this as a standard form, SOP means just if suppose I have a function of 3 variable A, B, C, okay. If I am another function, this is a different function. I have a function like yes, okay, same function itself. You don't have to think about a different function. A plus B dash C. This is also in SOP form. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is also in SOP form. This is also SOP. Why it is SOP? You can see that this is a sum. And this is a product term, right? This is a small product term where something is missing, which is missing. A is missing, fine. This is a product term where B and C both are missing, that is also fine. But still it is a product term only, right? So this you can call as a sum of product term, fine. But here if I am adding all the missing terms also, and each product term if I am standardizing it, so this is a kind of standard way of representation where each product term containing all the variables, boolean variables, then it is something special called a canonical sum of product term. So let me remove this part. So keep this in mind. Even generally for sum of product term, this restriction is not there, like all the variables should be there. If I am having that restriction, that is something different. We call it as canonical sum of product term. So the simply sum of product term, the standard form is a standard form where I am adding the product terms together. For example, if I have a function, another function, say a b c d, which I am expressing like a b plus b c d bar, I am randomly writing, then d plus AC something. So this is also sum of product term only, because this AB is a product term, BCD dash is a product term, D is a product term, AC is also a product term, and they are getting added each other. I am getting sum of product term. So this is also sum of product term. So this is something we call as the SOP, that's all. We will not use the term canonical. So when it comes to canonical form, this AB is not allowed. Instead, I need a term containing A, B, C and D. So I have to add the additional missing term somehow. That we will see how to add it. Now let me tell you another important concept. I am just relating only. This is not related to logic system design. This sum of product term in proportional logic, we call it as, can anyone remember what is it? These products are actually represented by the AND gate there, right? Conjunctions. The conjunction AND operation is nothing but the conjunction, right? And the sum is nothing but the disjunction. So we call it as the what is called SOP is otherwise called sum of. Sum is nothing but disjunction. So we call it as the disjunctive normal form there. So this is not a terminology used in logic system design. DNF, disjunctive normal form. This is a term used in another subject which you are studying parallelly, that is in discrete mathematics. In discrete mathematics, in proportional logic, let me write that term. So in propositional logic, we use the term disjunctive normal form, that is same as our sum of product term only. And here and there also, this canonical SOP, we call it as principal disjunctive normal form. Some of you may be remembering, otherwise just keep this in mind, that's all. Principal disjunctive normal form is a special disjunctive normal form where each product terms are supposed to contain, or the min terms are supposed to contain all the variables, the proportional variables. So this is equivalent to our canonical SOP. So hope the concept is clear. So that is canonical SOP or simply SOP. Okay, so anyways, both are standard form. This canonical SOP is something straightforward also. Just look at the truth table, wherever that one is coming, directly write it. Okay, so that is very systematic. Now let me tell you one more way of reaching this canonical SOP. So the question is like, suppose I have this function with me, say a plus b dash c. So here it is in SOP, but it is not in canonical SOP, right? And you know how to find out the equivalent canonical SOP. You can write the truth table and look at the ones, and you just do this mapping. You will get the canonical SOP. So this is our canonical SOP. This is our canonical SOP, right? Fine. Hope it is clear. Now I am giving you a different way of reaching it. So what you have to do is, just for a kind of equivalence, I am arguing once again that this is equivalent to that other form. Both are same only. So what I am doing is, I am focusing on the missing term. So which is missing here? So this is the first term, right? Let me call it as term 1, and this is the second term, term 2. So in term 1, which is missing? B and C are missing. So what I am going to do is, first I am trying to add B into term 1. So focus on term 1. This A is equivalent to A into B plus B dash. Is it correct? So what I done is, I just multiplied A with B plus B dash. What is B plus B dash? B plus B dash is 1, right? Hope you remember, B plus B dash by complement law, it is 1, right? So A dot 1 is nothing but A. Or let me make it more clear. So what I done is, this A, this is equivalent to A dot 1. This you know by identity. Now this 1 I am replacing with the B plus B dash by complement law, right? Now see, what I am doing is, by distributive law, I am expanding it like a AB plus AB dash. Fine. Now what I am doing is, now the A is expanded without changing its value to AB plus AB dash, so that B is added. Now I have to add C also. Now what I am going to do is, this is again equivalent to, this whole thing is equivalent to AB into, I am just adding C plus C dash. Hope you understand. What I am doing is, I multiplied it with a 1 again. There is no change for the value. Now that 1 I am replacing with a C plus C dash, because I want to add C, right? That is a missing term. Now A B dash is equivalent to again C plus C dash, right? Now again apply distributivity, you will get it as ABC plus AB C dash plus AB dash C plus AB dash C dash. C dash. Hope it is clear, right? So this many terms are added. Now which is the term 2. Now focus on term 2. In term 2, which is missing, B and C are there, the variable A is missing. A is missing. So you can add A. So what you have to do? So this is your term 1, B dash C. That is equivalent to. So I just want to maintain the order. So you can multiply with 1 at any position, because that by commutativity, that order doesn't matter, that we know, and operations order. So I am multiplying that 1 at the beginning, so that I will get A at the beginning. So this is equivalent to 1 is nothing but A plus A dash, right? So multiply it with the B dash C, so that you will get it as A B dash C, right, plus A dash B dash C. Okay, so what I am doing is, this F I am writing like F is equivalent to, so what are all the term? See, first from A I expanded to ABC. Okay, ABC I have plus ABC dash I have, right, plus A B dash C I have, plus A B dash C dash. These 4 terms I written, right? Now tell me, so A B dash C is actually redundant, it is already there. So it is coming, okay, let me use a different color for you to understand. See this term, it is already counted, okay? So you don't have to add it repeatedly. What about A dash B dash C? That is not here, right? So you can add that. The last term is like A dash B dash C. See how many terms are here now? 5 terms are there. Actually I am getting 6, but 1 was redundant, that is removed, and remaining I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 terms are there. So here also I am getting the 5 terms, right? You can cross check whether this F is, that is this particular expression is, see, whether this one is equivalent to this one or not, that you can verify on just view and verify. All these terms you can see there also, right? Okay, now they are in the different, okay, that screen is, as I find it difficult to put them in a single screen, or let me minimize so that you will see them in single screen. See, now you can verify. See, all these terms will be A dash B dash C, A dash B dash C, somewhere it will be there, it is here, right? A B dash C dash, A B dash C dash is here, A B dash C is here, A B C dash is somewhere here. Okay, ABC. So both are same. So I just used 2 different ways of reaching that canonical sum of product term. So keep this in mind. Either you can depend the truth table for finding the canonical sum of product, or you can expand the original expression by adding the missing term, with the logic that simply multiply by 1, that is nothing but that variable plus its negation. I mean, that rule you applied. With that you are done. So same thing I think you are doing in our proportional logic also, to find out the distinctive normal form as well as principal distinctive normal form. And there is something called the conjunctive normal form also, that is product of sum. We will see that. First it is sum of product. So hope it is clear, right? Now let me give you a different notation for this also. I just need a different color again. Okay, let's use black now. Now see, in the truth table, can you tell me the corresponding decimal values of this binary combination? This is 0 0 0, right? That corresponds to 0. So this is all these things are 0 0 0 0 0 1. These are all our min terms, right? All these are min terms and our product terms, where some of the min terms will be coming in the final function f. Here 5 min terms we are taking, because wherever I am getting a 1, they will come in the final function f, but wherever I am getting a 0, that will not come. Okay, so here majority is 1 only. So I am just calling this each of these combinations of ABC as min term. So let me call the first one as min term 0. So this is my min term 0. Min term 0 is nothing but 0 0 0. A is equal to 0, B is equal to 0, C is equal to 0 is my min term 0. So this is my min term 1. Right, because the corresponding decimal value is 1, that's all. The entire thing I am calling as a min term, and this is my min term 2, and this is my min term 3, right, and this is my min term 4, and this is my min term 5, this is my min term 6, and this is my min term 7. So I have 7 min terms totally, but in the final function, which are all the min terms participating? So let me take them. So what I am doing is I am just erasing this for getting space. And you know these are equivalent, right? At this point you know them. They are equivalent. Okay. See, what we, let me use the pen now. Right. So, this is otherwise called a canonical product of sum. Okay, fine. Now what I am doing is let me take that black pen. This is equivalent to what? This is equivalent to what? This is equivalent to, so tell me this these terms. This is A dash B dash C, that is nothing but min term 1. So min term 1, or this is what, min term 4, right? Min term A, this is C, 1 0 0, that is min term 4, or 1 0 1, 1 0 1 is min term 5, or this is 1 1 0, min term 6, this is 1 1 1, that is min term 7, right? So this many min terms are there. So just add them and write like this. I didn't like the way I am writing. Okay, M1 or M4 or M5 or M6 or M7. Okay, this is one notation. Now let me tell you one more notation. All are equivalent only, right? So what I am doing is summation, right? So summation I am denoting by sigma. So which are all the min terms I just added? I mean 1 I taken, min term 4 I taken, min term 5 I taken, min term 6 I taken, min term 7 I taken. I can either write M or 1 to 1 for both are having the same meaning, and the sigma means sum of. Okay, so you know the capital sigma, right? Sigma, sum of these terms. So now again this is equivalent to our original expression, that is what, or let me give an arrow here, the same function I am writing this way. Okay, all are same. Okay, that's all. So that means if I am expanding by this method, now also this is equivalent to, you can see. Now this may be in a different order. When you are writing like this, you can see that how will you get it without looking at the truth table. Tell me how to get that sigma notation. This is A B C means A equal to 1, B equal to 1, C equal to 1. That is what you are writing as ABCs. That is nothing but 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 means what? M7. This is my M7 plus 1 1 0. 1 1 0 is 6. Okay, you know the decimal conversion. Now M6. Now 1 0 1 1 0 1 is 5 plus 1 0 0, that is 4. This is 0 0 1, that is 1. Okay, so you write in order sigma of 1, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. So this is the sum of product notation, canonical sum of product notation. Simply SOP means even that original function A plus B dash C, that itself is SOP only. So we just need some products added together, that is SOP. Canonical means individual product term or min terms are containing all the variable. All are standard. So you know when you are writing a function in the canonical SOP form, so what benefit you are getting? This canonical SOP is the canonical SOP. This notation is actually, what happened? Because you may be referring this for future purpose. What I am doing is this. My writing skill is not good. Okay, let me erase and write it neatly. Okay. Okay. So this is my 7. So the representation I am having is what is called this particular notation. The entire thing, so either this form or this form is what we call it as the canonical sum of product expression, canonical sum of product expression. Okay. Okay, sum of products we do not like SOP also. And it's very important, it is a unique way of representing a Boolean algebraic expression. So it is unique, right? Keep that in mind. So what makes it special is it is unique, or it is a standard form. Standard forms are otherwise called normal forms also. So we call it as a standard form or unique form or normal form, like that. Many names are there. Okay, in different subject you are seeing this normal form in okay, sometimes you may not many, I think in this DBMS you will see, I don't know, next semester it is coming, automata theory. In different subject you will see wherever this term normal form you are seeing. So at least that I think in the first this one itself, so this switching theory, I'm sorry, this logic system design itself, first module, floating point numbers is there or not, I am not remembering. If so, there also you will see that implicit and explicit normal form. So normal form, that term means it's a standard representation, it's a unique representation that is globally accepted, something like that. See, same function we can represent in a number of ways. For example, this is your a, b, b dash c. You know, by distributivity, the same function you can represent like a plus b dash into a plus c. Maybe you can expand and you can add something like that. Different ways are there for expressing the same function, right? But you know, this, when it comes to this canonical representation, let me erase it, otherwise you may be confused. All are same only, that is what I am trying to say. But when it comes to canonical SOP, that is something unique. So this representation is something unique, right? So that means only what is a canonical SOP? I can't write more than one form for that. That is only the sigma 1, 4, 5, 6, 7 only. So that is a speciality of such a notation. So that is something everyone can understand, something like that. But when it comes to implementation, you are not going to depend on it. You will try to minimize it, and the minimized form only you will use. But that minimization, some logics are involved on the background, some rules, everything you have to know, and the simplification procedure you know right now. Okay, but I am just telling you the relevance of canonical SOP. Okay, so many times that will help you. Now there is one more equivalent form called the canonical. Instead of sum, it is product of sum. This is sum of product, the next one is product of sum. So hope you know what it will be. So individual, instead of min term we will write max term, then we will multiply them together. Okay, maybe in the next video we will see that. Slightly same only. Okay, so now just read the theory part. The Boolean expression can be expressed as what? Sum of min terms, right? Sum of min terms, or min terms are otherwise called product terms. Sum of min terms or product terms. Now this is another notation which I didn't touch. This is SOP. Now an equivalent form is called product of sum. So this we will see in the next video. So right now we discussed only SOP. So both the SOP and POC are the canonical form. So canonical form, by default we mean like each min term, individual term is containing all the variables. That is what we are explaining. So Boolean function can be expressed by from a given truth table by forming. So what we done is we formed min terms. Okay, right now don't look at the bracket. The bracket terms are for POS. That we will see separately and we will combine. I think otherwise this video time will be extending. So the min term. So don't look at the bracket part. Okay, so for the time being, so what we are doing is we have the min term. Min term we are obtaining from the truth table. For that what we are doing, that produces a 1. We are looking at the rows where we are getting a 1, right? And that min term we are taking, and the min terms we are adding together, or we are performing or operation, and you are getting this SOP expression. Opposite thing we will do for POS. Okay, both are correct only. Now a binary variable may be in the purest form, right, or it can be in the complemented form. So this is in general what we call as a literal. Literal means a variable in pure form or in complemented form, right? Now consider two variable expression. So using two variable, How many min terms are possible? You know, both the variables can be 0, 0. I mean 0, 0 is nothing but just like a, b. Here the variables are x and y. X is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. The corresponding min term is x dash, y dash. This is 0, 1. This is 1, 0. This is 1, 1. Right? This we saw the same thing for 3 variable. Okay. Now 4 min terms are possible. 4 min terms are possible when we have 2 variable. Right? They are otherwise called standard products. Min terms or standard product term. And in general, if I have n variables, such a 2 power n min terms will be there. Hope you remember in the example I explained. Where was it? There were 7 min term, sorry, 0 to 7, there were 8 min term using 3 variable, right? Using 3 variable, how many min terms I got? I got 2 power 3, that is equal to 8 min terms I got. Out of this 8 min term, 5 are coming in the final expression depending on where that function is giving me 1. Okay, the remaining are not coming. But anyway, that many combinations are possible, right? So, same way you can have a max terms also, 2 power n max term. So, this is the example for 3 variable. The same thing we saw with the variable a, b, c. Okay, so here instead they are explaining using x, y, z, whatever it is. If the way in Boolean variables are named as x, y, z, then you know the 7 combination, and that corresponds to what is this? This is nothing but x dash, y dash, z dash. Right, x dash, y dash, z dash. Then x dash, y dash, z, x dash, y, z dash. Right. Correspondingly, we have a min term 0, min term 1, min term 2, min term 3. Okay. Now, let me just introduce you the max term. So, this min term is something we saw so far. This min term is for sum of product, canonical sum of product expression. Now, where we are using max term, that is for the second notation, that is product of sum. Okay, product of term sum, the sum terms or the max terms sum terms are otherwise called max terms. So, max terms are nothing but the sum terms. Similarly, here sum of product. The product terms are otherwise called min terms, right? Okay, product terms. Okay. Now, how the sum terms are looking? Here I am using multiplication, product operation. Sometimes I will be using addition, right? But just opposite to that, you can just observe, like if you take the complement of this. What is complement of this? X dash, the whole complement will be x plus y plus z. That is this, right? So, what you can see that this max term is nothing but the complement of the min term. So, that is one observation you can have. And max term we typically use with the capital M. So, this capital M, I mean in general we are using we are representing min terms by small mi, and we are representing max terms by capital Mi. Okay, ith min term and ith max term. Clear? So, just a notation that is used in the textbook, that is all. And max term also coming like a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And you can see that that is nothing but take each min term and take its complement, that will give you the max term. This is nothing but min term 1 complement, min term 2 complement, etc. And this is my min term 7 complement. Complement you use this or you use this C, whatever it is. Okay, clear? So, like that you are getting. Okay, maybe I think that C will be more clear for you, right? Yes, min term 0 complement, min term 1 complement, this is min term 2 complement. Any notation you use, instead of that, here they are using that slash. And both are fine, okay, both are fine. Min term 7 complement, 2 different notations, that is all. So, keep that in mind, what is the difference. And or another way of looking at is, when you are writing min term, you know, if a variable is 0, take it as complement, right. But in max term, if it is 0, take it in the pure form. If something is coming as 1, take it in the complemented form. So, what you just study only one concept, sum of product, and the product term you make clear in your brain. Just do the opposite. The terms will be complemented when it comes to product of sum term. And we will see why they are equivalent, so that it will be more convincing for you. So, right now you just know SOP, you know how to come up with the SOP for a given expression. And here I have a function, and you know the procedure. So, wherever I am getting a 1, so this is the first column where I am getting a 1, and the terms I am writing like this. See, x dash, y dash, z. So, that is the first term. Okay, first term. Now, where I am getting 1, I am getting 1 here, x, y dash, z dash, x, y dash, z dash. Now, another one I am getting, I am just focusing on F1 only right now. So, this is another case, that is x, y, z. So, these 3 terms are coming like this. Hope it is clear, right? Now, the terms are like I am having, this is my this is m0, this is m1, m2, m3, this is m4, this is m7. So the one is giving m1, m4, m7 are there. So it is also represented by sigma of 147. All these notations are same. Similarly, here they are trying to have a relation with the max term. Maybe we will see in the next video. Okay, we will continue discussion on it on the next video. Okay. So hope it is clear, right? That min term part is clear at least. Okay, let me erase it. Okay. We may use this PPT in the next video. So that's all. Similarly for F2, what is the canonical sum of product notation? So that is given as an example. So the same thing I discussed by explaining in detail. I have a plus b dash c. So what I done is I taken this a, the missing term b, I added by multiplying it with 1 and replacing 1 with b plus b dash. Then I added c term, c plus c dash, c plus c dash. So I am getting this. Similarly b dash c, a is missing, that I added, and finally everything I grouped. The same example we discussed. Okay. Now the another alternative way of getting the sum of product term is nothing but that is what we discussed first. I mean using the truth table. One method is by expanding. I mean the missing term you add by if variable a is missing, you add that variable by multiplying it with the a plus a dash. After multiplying with the a plus a dash, that is nothing but multiplying by 1. There is no change for the original value. We are just retaining the value as it is and we are expanding. That is one way. Another way is just find out the truth table and wherever we have 1, write there the corresponding term. For during exam, they are giving some Boolean expression. They are asking you what is the canonical sum of product term. You can use any one of the method. Provided nothing is mentioned. Sometimes they may ask you by truth table method like that. Otherwise, you can use any one of the method. I think the expanding method is easy, right? Simply you can add the missing term like that. Now product of max term, maybe we will cover it in the next video. Okay. See, thanks for watching.